the University of the South in Tennessee. When we returned to the States, we were there. Our family landed on the main line in 1983 when Dad was hired here at EA. I started third form in the 4th class of girls as a preacher's kid. It's hard to be a PK sometimes. Everyone expects you to be either a wild child or a prude. I always just wanted to be normal, whatever normal means, especially as a teenager. From ages 13 to 15, I found my parents excruciatingly embarrassing. My mother wore sensible clothes and no makeup, unlike the glamorous mothers of some of my peers, and dragged us to museums and historic sites. My dad was so darned earnest, striking up lengthy conversations with strangers and finding theological meaning in Star Trek. Why couldn't they be more worldly and sophisticated? The joke, of course, was on me. They were wildly worldly and sophisticated in ways that I didn't begin to appreciate until I grew older. My father knew much more about the many deep and dark fathoms of human nature than I gave him credit for. Yet he remained at his core an optimist and a believer in the dignity of every human being. One of the consistent things people who knew him said immediately after he died this past June, he was one of the nicest men I ever met. Nice doesn't mean weak or soft. My dad was gentle and kind, yet he was tough and resilient. He was there for many of my EA peers as they went through difficult times and maintained those relationships long after they graduated and he left Episcopal. He went to work for the Diocese of Pennsylvania in 1988, where one of the jobs he took on was prison ministry. He founded a mission church, St. Dismas, inside maximum security Graterford Prison, where he built a community of trust and faith within that harsh and brutal environment, making a significant difference in the lives of the men he got to know. 2 short stories illustrate just how much of a difference he made. One inmate, upon his release, found himself sitting on a bench in total despair. He didn't want to return to his old neighborhood for fear he would slip back into bad patterns and relationships. But he didn't know where else to go or what to do. He looked up and saw a church. That moved him to call my dad. Dad reassured him, spoke with the staff at the church, and made sure that they helped this man find the support and resources he needed, transforming his outlook from despair to hope. Another man who grew up without a father, who never finished high school, who never believed he had a future, became one of the most enthusiastic members of the St. Dismas mission. My dad encouraged him to get a GED, and once he completed that, to pursue a college degree through the Villanova's extension program in the prison. Upon his release, he earned a graduate degree, and he and his wife just bought their first house. My dad's belief in his dignity allowed him to become the authentic self God wanted him to be. So this is what I share with you in memory of my father. Become who you are meant to be, not what you want to seem to be or think you ought to be. Find your authentic self. Find your mission and your ministry, because each one of you has special and unique gifts to contribute. Go forth to love and serve the world. Thanks be to God. Amen. In silence, let us reflect on what we just heard.